Alright, Victor here again, restoringmercedes.com. Eury, this is for you again. So I'm just starting on engine mounts now. Now I did transmission mount. It was low, it was ripped a little bit, but it was still there at least. Engine mounts are totally flat, we have to change them. I did your squeaking sound, that's gone. And I did shifter bushing. One of them was totally gone, there was nothing there left. The shifter itself that goes to the linkage is still okay, so I'll leave it. So down in the middle I'm done. And that one I'm done. The rear brakes will even, because those are still half-life at least. Front ones I'm thinking either I should change rotors and brakes or not. Now another thing I wanted to show you is that I do have an issue here with this. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but this is the upper control arm. It's totally loose. I mean, it's not totally loose, I'm sorry, it's just like loose, the rubbers are gone. But the wheel is not going to fall apart. Ball joint in itself is ripped. I don't know if camera picks it up, I don't see what I'm shooting. As you see, the ball joint is ripped. This is dangerous. If the ball joint fails, that's a big problem. Other than that, because that thing is so loose, I don't know what's the rest of the suspension is doing. Seems like somebody replaced front shocks, because they seem to be replacement shocks. So the underneath the car, let's take a look real quick. Well, no, I still have covers on. All right, well, lower ball joints seem to be all right. Let's take a look. Well, at least on the driver's side. So here's the lower ball joint. That at least looks to be fine. I have to check it with the screwdriver, obviously, with the big crowbar. Steering box is leaking, common thing on these cars, where the steering box is all wet. Further up there, yeah, that's the way it is. Just add fluid. Like I said, if you want to fix it, we can fix it. Steering damper, that seems to be pretty old looking. But again, my agenda here is to get engine mounts done first, and then the other things we'll deal with at later time. But and the brakes, you know, because your brake light is on, so the brakes are pretty low up front. We have to change the brakes, at least pads. The tires were pretty much okay, believe it or not, even with bad upper control arm, but that has to be done. That's dangerous. If ball joint fails, then you can lose control. Not good. Okay, so I'll move on with engine mount job right now. Okay, so it's like 7 or something p.m. and I just finished with the engine mounts. Just want a couple of more points before I put the car off the jack stands and off jacks. Now I'll show engine mounts in a minute. Down under, this is the HID adjustment sensor. It's the height sensor for HIDs. The rod is missing. There's supposed to be a rod over here, so the height on the HIDs are corrected. That is to be dealt with, because you need the rod, otherwise your lights are all over the place. Transmission line over here, that is to be replaced, but that might not even be a transmission line, but it appears to be a transmission line. I would replace it for good measure. It's cheap, so might as well. Over here we have lots of wetness. There's like everything is just basically in fluid. That seems to be power steering, because this is AC compressor. Power steering is above and it is all wet. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but I'm trying to. Power steering up above is all wet, so most likely it's not the power steering itself, it's probably the reservoir. So that is probably the O-ring on the reservoir. That is the peak of the new engine mounts right there. That's one of them. Another engine mount is going to show from underneath, so this is replaced. Like I said, steering damper, steering gear, is leaking, but you know, it is what it is. That is that. There is a little bit of wetness on these lines up above. That is our, what is that? A cooler. I think it's power steering. What is that? I don't know. I mean, I have to double check on what that is. But before you, I mean, I can't lay it like this forever. So on that side, we know upper control arm to be done, this lever to be done, some seals up above for power steering to be done, and I get out from underneath. And since we're gonna do the other side, if we will do the other side, then this side, this is the passenger side upper control arm ball joint. It's built in, you cannot replace it separately, but this thing is also ripped. So I don't know if you can catch it on camera, but it's basically no longer. This is the grease that came out of the ball joint. So this wheel is under stress, so I cannot move it. The coil spring is cracked. Common thing on these cars. I don't know if camera shows it, but it's there. Let me try to put the display back on, so this way I can see what I'm shooting at, because without display I can't see. That's a little GoPro with, pardon my motions here, because I have a case over it. Come on. Come on. There. Okay, so I can see what I'm shooting at. Alright. If you look down under the spring, the coil spring is cracked. Now, like I said, this is the common thing on these cars, where the springs crack. I don't know if you see it on camera, but maybe when I edit the video, I'm going to add that, like a line or something. Yeah, right there. See, there's a crack there. So the bottom, usually the bottom coil cracks up. I don't know why, but I've seen many cars like this. I had a car with the cracked spring, and that was that. But you know, you don't change one, you change both. So anyway, I'm beat for today. It's just, I have to cut it quits. Actually, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to show you that the HID adjustment works. Actually, you know what, I'm not going to even pause it. I'm just going to go do it, because I'm about to call it a day. Now, what we would want to see, okay, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the lever, you know, and then we're gonna look at the light. I don't know if you can see it. So it's moving. The other light. Okay, that's enough. So as you can see, both lights do work, motors work, HIDs work. So we're probably better off replacing that rod, because we need to get it done, because the lights will stay straight with the car. Otherwise it's gonna either go too high or too low. So that is that, and that's all for me for today. Brakes probably tomorrow. I can't do the brakes today. Rotors, brakes, sensors, and what have you. Alright, so for now, this is it. This is Victor at restoringmercedes.com. Thank you for watching.